What are your opinions on the new cell phone policy?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's good for learning, but not like other people.
Okay, why do you think this is good or bad?
Kids don't like it.
What do you mean? Elaborate.
Because kids want to be on their phones?
Yes. Okay. Should teachers be allowed to go on their phones in class?
Should teachers be allowed to?
Yes.
Yes. Sure. I don't know.
Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. Have you noticed an improvement in classwork?
I don't know.
Yes or no?
No.
Okay. What are your opinions on the new cell phone policy?
I think it's pretty stupid.
All right. Why do you think this is a good or bad idea?
I think this is a bad idea because we're in high school and we should be able to use our phones.
Should teachers be allowed to use their phones in class?
Yes, and so should we.
Have you noticed an improvement in classwork?
Not at all.
Why do you think the policy was implemented?
Because they want to have power over us when they can't.
All right.
They just want to control everything we do, but they can't do that.
All right. So, do you have a phone?
Yes.
All right. What are your opinions on the new cell phone policy?
It doesn't really affect me much because I don't really use my phone all the time, but I haven't been here long enough to, what's the word I'm thinking for? I haven't been here long enough to understand why it's here or why it's a thing, but I have been here and they've gone over it in DS about you're not allowed to have it, and I was wondering why, but otherwise it doesn't really affect me.
Okay. What do you think it's a good or bad idea?
I think it's a good idea because people aren't as distracted in class when they should be learning.
Okay. Should teachers be allowed to have their phones in class?
Should teachers? I actually don't know about that one. I feel like it should be equal to where teachers shouldn't have theirs, and students shouldn't have theirs. But then it's also because teachers need to communicate with. I don't know why they would need it if they're supposed to be teaching.
What are your opinions on the new cell phone policy?
Well, I think it is helping cut down on discipline problems, but I do see a problem in the art room. I used to be able to let the kids look up information on their phones and it was easy, and now I have to go back old school and make copies of written documents and things for them to research things.
Do you think it's a good or bad idea?
I think it is good. I think a lot of kids were getting in trouble last year. They were Snapchatting during class, or they would send inappropriate pictures or bully people using their phone, and so I think it's going to cut down on discipline problems.
Okay. Should teachers be allowed to have phones in class?
Teachers should have their phone, but they should not be doing looking at Facebook or Snapchat or anything. They have to notify an administrator. That's different, but we should, use our phone. We have in our classroom too.
Right. Okay. Have you noticed an improvement in classwork?
It's about the same.
Okay. Why do you think the new policy was implemented?
Because people abused the phones and they were sending inappropriate things throughout, and they were not doing their schoolwork. They were texting and doing things like that in class.
Okay. All right. Thank you about the new phone policy at Signal this year.
So there's definitely pros and cons. It's probably the biggest benefit in my experience is that it's consistent across the board. There are times though that having a phone in class can be useful, especially with sophomores and freshmen. I know with the juniors and seniors they're allowed to have that, and there's some situations where if you're doing Kahoot reviews or things like that where sometimes it's easier to have phones, that way everybody has access, but it being consistent across the board has been very helpful on that end. So I would say that I like it, and there's parts of it that I don't like as well.
Do you feel like the rules applied to the students should be consistent to the ones applied to the teachers?
I do believe so. I believe that teachers should not have their phones out in class. I know sometimes we'll get text messages from the school, so that's why I'll check my phone. But if it's not something from the school, I'll put my phone away and make sure it stays put up. If it keeps going off for whatever reason, I'll just leave it on my desk and not touch it. But I think it's a bad precedent to set for the students to not be respectful of their time as well, if we are expecting that from y'all.
Do you think that the amount of time that we have at lunch to be on our devices is enough time, or do you think that the students deserve more?
I don't really have a strong opinion on that. If it was me, I would obviously want to have more time on my phone. I think for having the phone during the hallways and things like that gives you a chance to check on those immediate messages. So I wouldn't say that I'm very strongly opinionated one way or the other on that.